Hello! Welcome back, everybody. This is EonShiKeno. It's time for some more Starcraft 2. We're going to have some more matches from Intel Extreme Masters Cup at Hanover. This is going to be Group... let me check real quick. B. This is Group B. We're going to have some PvP. This is the Protoss group, if I've ever seen one. So there's 6 players in this group, and 5 of them are Protoss. So, and there's 1 poor Zerg player. But luckily enough for him, all he has to worry about is practicing against Protoss. So actually it kind of works in his favor. So anyways, let's introduce our players. We've got White Raw, the beast from the east, the Protoss player. That's going to be in the red color on the top right part of the map. And the former Warcraft 3 pro who used to play Orc, now plays Protoss. It's going to be Grubby, our blue player down here in the bottom left part of the map. So we've seen quite a few good games coming out of IEM. That last ZVT I commentated was really close, Select versus Xenio. That was a pretty fun match. It was really close, but I think in the end it just came down to Select just forgetting to transition into Vikings fast enough, and Broodlords were kind of his Achilles heel that game. But it was a fun, like up until that point, it was very close, very entertaining. And just another thing, like Protoss mirror match, like a couple months ago, would I have been interested in commentating a PvP? Probably not. It would have been just like 4 gate, 4 gate. Well, that still exists. It's definitely grown a lot since then. There's you see a lot more Protoss matches going into the mid and late game, and at least getting up expansions. That's baby steps for a Protoss mirror match, is just getting those expansions up for both players and managing to survive like the initial attack. So already out of the bat here, I want to note something. On this map, as far as I know, these are forced cross-spawning positions, and White Rod does not know about that, but luckily for Grubby, he does. Grubby did come down here and scout out his natural to look for any type of proxy gateways, but he didn't see anything. And then he goes directly across the map to scout out his opponent. And those little things do matter whenever you're playing against the best Protoss players, the best pros in the world. Every little bit counts. So. Gonna see Grubby get the more efficient scout there, and he's getting his second gas up. Go ahead and started that. And both players here, White Raw also getting his second gas just a little bit later. Now the next thing we are going to look for is Chrono Boost. You know, who's gonna get their who's gonna spend their Chrono Boost on what? And we can already see so far Grubby has used more of his Chrono Boost. Wait, never mind, he just used one right there. So 24. There we have, very even. But I think Grubby used one more on his probes, and we had White Raw use the first one as soon as the Cybernex core finished, because we have his warp gate just a little bit further ahead. Now Grubby's catching up with the warp gate, so pretty close so far. Now this map has a fairly wide ramp. If you do decide to expand and you want to defend against it, it's kind of hard, but at least there is a ramp there, unlike some other maps. Grubby hanging out here in the middle of the map, and he's going to start pushing out with the Stalker, and White Raw is going to skip the Zealot and go for the Stalker and the Robotics Bay. So we're going to see some Immortals coming out of White Raw here, and maybe he'll make a Warp Prism, do some special tactics. And the Probe War's in the middle, and the Stalker shows up. Oh, but look at that. Yeah, Grubby came out ahead there, got the probe kill, managed to save the other probe. So Grubby with a little bit of a lead there. And he's going around with this Protoss. What is he doing back in his base? He's got a gateway on the way, and what is he going to transition into here? I'm really curious what Grubby is going to do. So Stalkers trading blows back and forth. White Raw taking a little bit of hull damage there. We have a proxy pylon for Grubby at the top of the map. Now this doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come attack you. It's just good to have anyway. So this may just transition to an expansion, and it seems like that's what Grubby's going to do. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have minerals. There we go. There's the expansion. So White Raw is in the defensive mode now. He's maybe anticipating some type of attack. He's going for the Observer first, which is he going for a sentry? He needs a sentry if he's worried about surviving 4 gate, which definitely is going to come. But anyways, he's got the Observer out. He's going to head out across the map, and unfortunately for White Raw, he's going to be playing from behind here. Grubby's throwing up his Robotics Bay. He's got 2 gates, and this is a really interesting player. I'm not quite sure how Grubby just like reasoned the fact that he isn't going to get 4 gated. Maybe just because of the fact that he didn't see a second Stalker, and White Raw was just poking out with the 1 Stalker, so he figured, all right, he's probably teching, and I'm going to take the economic lead while he takes the tech lead. So sacrificing a probe up there, and now we have a fight. He's pushing out 2 sentries and 2 stalkers, but Grubby's got some pretty nice micros pulling those guys back. 1 stalker falls down for White Raw. Grubby's going to try a nice force fields in the back. They're going to separate those guys up a little bit, but he does lose the 1 stalker. Now it's 2 sentries versus 2 stalkers, and another stalker shows up, and an immortal shows up. That guy's going to be start wrecking house over here on the left, but Grubby pulls back. He loses 1 stalker. First one he's lost so far, and he's going to lose his second one. But he did manage to delay White Raw's expansion for quite a bit, getting up to over 600 minerals there for a little bit. So even though I think Grubby came out, oh, actually, they're still pretty even in stalkers. But I think that was an even trade, 2 stalkers for 2 stalkers. So that was a great trade for Grubby. He delayed this expansion, so on top of just trading units, he also managed to delay White Raw's economy. So really good move there by Grubby, coming out ahead overall in the long run. So he's got his immortal coming out. What is he taking up to? Robotics Bay. And do we have a Robotics Bay for White Raw yet? I don't think we do. Nope, not yet. So Grubby will have the first Colossus out on the map, assuming he doesn't get supply blocked or anything crazy like that. And there we go. We've got White Raw making his Robotics Bay as well. So White Raw moving to the middle map, taking that Zal Nagatar with the Vision. He has scouted out his opponent with the Observer, so he knows, all right, he beat me. He got the expansion up first. So I will have map control. He knows he's going to have a better army just due to the fact that he went for more of an economic lead as opposed to an army/tech lead. So let's check the worker count. While we're at 37 versus 33, so we can see the benefit of getting that Nexus up a little bit earlier. 5 worker lead, and that, you know, makes a big difference here as far as you can see in the economy. First Colossus is about halfway done for Grubby, and we're going to see White Raw move out across the map. He's got 2 Immortals, and Grubby is following that with his Observer, so he sees that. So he might lose his Observer here. If he doesn't watch out, he has to worry about those sentries and that stalker, but he seems to be keeping a pretty good distance from those units. Yep, it seems like White Raw is just going to fall back there for a second. Maybe just trying to apply a little bit of pressure there to Grubby, maybe make him miss a couple of probes, build a couple probes there, but 2 more gas going down for Grubby. Colossus is out, and they're going to start working on these rocks. Grubby wants to set up his 3rd, and both players kind of just doing a little bit of posturing, and these observers just kind of following each other around. Not sure where Grubby's going with this observer. Really not sure where he's going with this observer. He's just going to check down here, maybe? I don't really know. He has not yet scouted out this expansion, but I think at this point, considering he hasn't got attacked yet, he saw that army in the middle, and it was quite small, relatively speaking. He has to assume that, you know, there's going to be an expansion down here. Not to mention, whenever he did go in there to push, he saw the probe go down there. And, oh no, he's going to lose his observer. Nope, does not. Pulls that back just in the nick of time. So 3 warp gates up, forge on the way here. No players have really started any upgrades going, but both players are starting their forge, so we'll see upgrades coming out eventually. There's really no big reason, unlike PvZ, where you would want to go for maybe a +1 attack. At least I haven't seen a build like that where you'd go for some type of +1 attack. It doesn't really make that big of a difference as it does versus Zergling, so just something that doesn't appear too early on in the PvP game. So still making some Colossus, both players getting extended thermal lance, more gateways coming up, and even a second Robo, so Grubby really committing to the Robotics Bay. And White Raw, has he started another Robo? Yes, he has. Both players, like in this composition, wanting to get really Robo, really gas-heavy units out. Grubby does sneak in here with the Observer and scouts out the +1, and he scouts out the Robotics Bay and the Robotics Facility. So, oh no, he's going to lose his Observer, but he has seen quite a bit of good information with that. So not a total loss. 3rd base here for Grubby is up about halfway done. White Raw hasn't yet started his out. Double Robo pumping out another Observer. More gateways being built also. Excuse me. So this Observer, or this pylon up here at the top, may come into effect if Grubby decides to make an attack on this 3rd base. Had a little bit of a pause there, I guess. And let me check the saturation of this base over here. Not bad. Yep, pretty good there between both bases. And he's already starting to do long distance mining to this 3rd base, so being very, very efficient with his probes. And White Raw has got a pretty sick army here. Let's check the spending. I'm kind of curious. Army, a little bit ahead for Grubby. Technology, a little bit ahead for Grubby, which I'm kind of surprised by. I guess that probably switched a little bit earlier. Earlier on, White Raw was ahead, but as soon as Grubby got that expansion up and started pumping out some extra money, he spent that money on technology, so he's got a little bit of a lead. And now, oh no, that's the second Observer White Raw has killed this game. So unfortunately for Grubby, he's going to have to make another one of those. And you can already see he's got one up there in the production tab. Warping in a Zealot up here at the top. Easy, quick scout. He's going to come up to the top of this third and check out, is there an expansion? And why, sure enough, yes, there is an expansion up here at the top. Not much else this Zealot can do. Maybe attack that Nexus once or twice or just run away. And White Raw sitting in the whole force. He's like, send everything to kill that one Zealot. Send it all. That Zealot must die. Another proxy pylon over here on the right side of the map. I like this. I like just, you know, if you're going to build pylons, why not spread them out around the map in key positions so you can get vision and have closer warp in. So let's check the unit count while we're at it. 6 for Grubby and 5 for White Raw. But White Raw has a 2 immortal versus 1 immortal for Grubby. So and 6 Stalkers versus 8 Stalkers, and 3 Sentries, 2 Sentries. Zealots are favoring for Grubby, though, which could make a big difference here. And then 7 Colossus versus 5. So Army is favoring Grubby at this point. He's got a really heavy Zealot count, which is important, as well as having Colossus. You can't just have pure Colossus. You need to have a mix in of Zealots, because those Zealots take a lot of damage from those Colossus. And if you still have Zealots left over in a Colossus fight, and your Colossus numbers are still relatively even, you're going to be winning that fight no problem. So Grubby pushing down here to the front, getting in a better position to defend his third base. He's got double gas up here to his third, and some Zealots trying to sneak in, but not going to do too much. They're probably just trying to run in here, kill a couple of probes, but getting toasted extremely fast. So, and another thing, this pylon is working out to be a good scout for the 4th base. He's going to see this. White Raw actually was probably just coming down here to scout for, maybe scout for that pylon, because that's the second time he's seen a Zealot just kind of sneak in his base. So, but also that pylon does work out for a good scout of your opponent's 4th base. A Zealot here for White Raw, heading down to this bottom right spot to look for his own opponent's 4th base. That pylon does fall down. Now some Archons are being brought into the mix, and we got some motherships. White Raw is the first person to start the motherships. Also starting to get some charge out, and some more fourth base there for Grubby going up in the top left part of the map. And I'm still debating which base I like better for 4th base. This one down here or this one up here in the rocks. Zealot doing a suicide mission, and that's what Zealots seem to be doing these days, is just running in there and scouting out those bases. And he's going to get a probe. He's going to get a probe. Oh, gets 1 probe. Almost gets a second one. That was a close one there. And Grubby going in for the pylon block of the 4th base, but that's not going to last too long. White Raw is going to be right on top of that. So, Grubby with an interesting mix here. He's throwing in some Archons, which I do like. That'll be able to negate some force fields if White Raw decides to throw down some force fields to slow down these Zealots getting up into his face. And there's the base for White Raw up here at the top. And this is just such a macro PvP game. And we've got a Fleet Beacon and a Dark Shrine. Why not? You're maxed on supply. You're starting to bank quite a bit of money. Might as well start getting as much tech as possible for the game. Gravitic boosters are being researched. Probe being scouted here, and both players scouting quite a bit this game. And I like that. I love just players being very proactive about scouting. And at the beginning of the game, we saw scouts go between like Zealots, observers, but now they're just sending, like, you know, probes back and forth. Look at this White Raw sending another probe going over here, just probes all over the place, and he's gonna scout out the mothership. He scouts the mothership, and can you believe it? A mothership can't one-shot a probe. That's just the saddest thing in the world. The peak of Protoss technology can't even one-shot a probe. But anyways, back to the game. Grubby sees that mothership, and he realizes, uh-oh, I do not have any AA. I don't have enough AA to deal with that. He needs a High Templar maybe to feed back that mothership. And is this White Raw's chance? He's going to try and get a Vortex here on a lot of these Colossus. Grubby doing a good job of splitting up his force. We have a big attack here. Colossus at the top, and the mothership is doing some nice job of just cloaking everything. And there goes the Vortex. Zealot's coming in from the bottom, getting a nice counterattack here on Grubby. And wow, White Raw just has such an amazing concave here with the mothership. And with that, oh man, this is just looking so good for White Raw. Grubby's trying to pull back his Colossus, keep those guys alive. Now the majority of his army is out, but he's got quite a few units in there. He's going to lose a couple of those Colossus in the back, but now they fall back to the hidden vision of that mothership, and Grubby's going to lose most of his forces there. So supply easily favoring White Raw, 136 versus 78, and looking pretty good for White Raw. That mothership just came out in the right time. Grubby just wasn't ready for it, and I wasn't ready for it either. It kind of just appeared, And that is just going to be the that might just be it here. I don't really know how he's going to be able to deal with this. Attack down here at the bottom, just so many DTs being warped in here by White Raw. Just going to clean up that base down here at the bottom, and Zealots just being warped in here, killing that. But that is yeah, it's going to be too much here for Grubby. So many DTs there. I remember there was a cannon down here, but he just warps in like so many DTs it doesn't even matter. Going to manage to take out this Fleet Beacon and Dark Shrine. So the base over here top left does fall, and White Raw is just going to continue to push forward. Now even making some carriers. Why not make some carriers? Your opponent has shown a lack of anti-air, and what's better than motherships? Carriers. Even though neither of them are going to be in the next start of this war. But anyways, a lot of Zealots being brought into the fight here, and White Raw doesn't have any... He doesn't have any AA, or he doesn't have that much of an army. He was kind of relying on the cloak there, but the Observer is out, and White Raw doesn't have detection. So Grubby's going to manage to clean up the rest of these forces, but this one mothership is just kind of shooting everything. This is so ridiculous. He's going to feedback it. He can feedback it. He does. He gets a feedback on there. And now what's faster, a High Templar or a mothership? Can you believe it? A High Templar is a lot faster than a mothership. This is so ridiculous. White Raw just kind of floating around. 3 Stalkers trying to kill it. And now we have Grubby in hot pursuit with his own mothership. Is going to chase down White Raw. And will the mothership get away? He's getting away. He's pretty far away. This mothership shouldn't be able to catch it. But no, he stopped it. And now Grubby's going to take revenge. And the mothership gets its first kill. So even though he managed to fight off that, he did lose his mining base over here, this mining base, and I wasn't quite sure if there's a base here, but losing 2 of his primary mining bases is going to really hurt Grubby, hurt his economy, and as you can see in the supply, taking a big hit right there. So carrier tech coming out here, interceptors, and man, this PvP is kind of just going the gambit of all the Protoss technology you can throw at each other, and who would have thought like a well-timed mothership would be pretty critical, and it managed to pay off there for Grubby. Maybe if he would have had 1 or 2 observers in that mix, he could have maybe fought that a little bit better, but even with the Vortex, it was really nice. And not to mention the flank down the bottom, but here we have White Raw coming in, and Grubby with his mothership, but we have carriers and observers here also, so the cloaking ability of the mothership isn't going to be too terribly effective. Interceptors flying around, he does get a Vortex off on that carrier, but the Archons are right there. They're going to manage to take out that mothership, and the Colossus are going to fall. There's the GG from Grubby, and there we have it. There we have it. The PvP. That was a pretty interesting PvP. We saw, you know, kind of everything there. And someone requested that I commentate a PvP because it was their birthday today. It was one of my longtime viewers, pre-med. So he said it was his birthday today. So happy birthday to you. And especially a happy birthday also to Time Lord, which is like one of my first co-commentators I cast with like over a year ago. So and my longtime viewers are aware of him. And it was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to both of you Protoss players. Hope you guys enjoyed this PvP, and that's the first game in this best of 3 series, so White Raw is going to be up 1-0 versus Grubby, and let's hope the rest of these matches are going to be as entertaining. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys in game number 2.